Uh, Vanderbilt, a team we're very familiar with, played them 3 times last year, and they came in and played awful well here at Bud Walton Arena last year. And we want to make sure they're a little bit more uncomfortable than they were last year, but they're starting to play a lot better. They've scored, I think, in the 80s in the last 4 games. So it's a team that obviously got some guys that really can shoot the basketball. They do a great job of moving without the ball and penetrating, pitching. And of course, when you got LaChance, who's been there, and Roberson, who's been there for quite a while. But I like the makeup of their young guys coming in. The lead kid, really good basketball player, Toye. Remember him last year as well. So it's a team that has multiple guys that can shoot the basketball. So our defense, especially our perimeter defense, which has been lacking in some of the previous games, has really got to be on point. We got to rebound the basketball and hopefully get the tempo to our likings and get our bench involved. I think that's a big stat. When our bench is involved, it really puts the game in our favor. The last 10 minutes we talk about really controlling. That's what we want to do, and we saw some of that in the South Carolina game.
Yeah, Mike, Gabe before the other night, he'd only played in 9 games, only played, I think, a minute in SEC play. What led you to give him, all those minutes?
Well, I just keep seeing something. He's really improved in practice, Bob, each and every throughout the course of, between his conditioning and his improvement, just bringing a toughness, bringing a guy that does multiple things for our team. He fixes things on defense. He rebounds in traffic. He's a tremendous passer. He really can. He handles the ball well. And he can play defense. So it's just his time. I think he's improved to the point now where it's his time, and as he's gotten those minutes, he's taken them and really done some positive things with them.
Did you plan to play him that many minutes, or just he was playing well, so, hey, he's going to play more? Did that kind of evolve?
No, I was going to play him. I was going to play him, Bob. I was going to play him because, like I said, he's been really practicing well. So it's just a matter of his time now, for the young. I just thought he gives us another injection of enthusiasm, energy. This is the time of year where you need energy, and you can get it from a guy like that at 6'8", 6'9", that can rebound and plays real rugged. I think it takes some pressure off of Daniel and Trey and Dustin Thomas in that group. So it gives you, to me, another guy that can come in and can be blue collar. That's what he is to me, a blue collar kind of guy.
I guess he's about the only one of that group of forwards that hadn't started the game. Might you even start him against Vanderbilt Saturday, or also kind of where's Dustin Thomas figure after not playing?
No, Dustin will play. He'll play. The practice has been pretty competitive. So, but Dustin will play. And in terms of who will start, we'll see what takes place in practice. It's getting competitive, and I think the more competitive your team is at this time of the season, even throughout the season, we hadn't had anybody just be consistent. I want guys that are going to be consistent. So the key is getting minutes, getting quality minutes, and what you do with those minutes. And the other night, in Gabe's case, I mean, this guy just had a big-time impact on the game and didn't even score a bucket. I mean, 2 charges, 5-second call, some tremendous rebounding, some good passes, good screens. Again, just his basketball IQ was huge, for our team.
Mike, I guess Gabe's taken 7 charges, which is high on the team, and he hadn't played. He's probably 10th or 11th in minutes played. Does he take a lot of charges in practice, or what do you think about the fact he's taken so many charges? What's he do to do that?
I think you understand placement on the floor, weak side help, being on the strong side, being in the lanes. He can guard a guard, he can guard a forward. He just anticipates. I think that's the sign of a guy that really, when you go over the defensive drills, he's one of those guys that has really listened, and just his instincts. His instincts are really, really good, especially with the way we play. Our defense is geared to getting people sped up. And if you can get a big guy back there that can read and anticipate and get to those spots when those guys are coming out of control, those are big plays. And whether you know that charge, I always put value on a guy that takes charges because a lot of things takes place. It's a personal foul on the opponent. It's a team foul on the opponent. 2 points that they could have had, opportunity, 3 points sometime, and now we get the opportunity to do that. And so it's a lot of things that takes place, and you get the possession. So a lot of things takes place on an offensive charge.
How do you feel they've compensated for not having Fisher Davis and also just Roberson and LaChance? Just kind of what problems do they present?
Well, I tell you about Bryce Drew. He's done a great job of bringing those young guys on. You have the Brown kid is a really good player. The Evans kid is starting for him, and so he just maximized. Like I said, they scored over 80 points in the last 4 games, so that's a sign that they're getting better. They're getting comfortable not having Fisher Davis. Sometimes, subtraction, you get addition, because now other guys get an opportunity to showcase what they can do. And, of course, you got Peyton Willis, who's from here, Arkansas. I'm sure he's looking forward to the game. So it's again, it's a Vanderbilt team. When you go on that road, you got to be able to shoot the basketball well, and we know that's what they do well.
Coach, Roberson, not only is their leading scorer in conference play, he's also their leading rebounder. What kind of a challenge does that present from the wing standpoint?
Well, we got to find him in transition. We got to find him in the half court. A lot of what they do goes through him. They'll post him up. He can screen and pop. He really gets in the transition well. We got to be able to keep him off the board as well. He's one of those guys that's 6'5", 6'6", but he's very athletic. And it's a tough matchup for a lot of people, because in essence they really start 4 guards. He's a guard, and so we got to be able to match up with him. And as I said, take him off the 3-point line and be in position when he does drive the basketball. But he's important in what they do. So we've got to make him work, much so like we did with Silver. We got to make him work for everything he gets.
Mike, not many guys have played 17 minutes and not take a shot like Gabe did. Did you tell him, hey, don't shoot, or he wasn't forcing it, or kind of what'd you think of the fact he didn't shoot, take a shot?
He was playing to win. He had a shot. I think he bobbled it out of bounds one time. I think Darryl gave him a nice pass, and he kind of bobbled it. So I don't know if it was a shot attempt, but it ended up being a turnover for him. He's just playing the game. He's playing the right way. That's all. I mean, the shots are going to come. That's one thing about, with this team here. You don't have to go get the game. It will come to you. And some nights it comes a lot more than other nights. And obviously we know with Darryl and Barford, they're wired to score. But trust me, other guys, and we're seeing a guy like Trey Thompson now, all of a sudden now, he's starting to be productive in scoring because it's coming to him. I mean, he's playing bigger inside. He's stepping out, knocking those shots, getting to the free throw line. So, and the more guys we get scoring, then it puts a lot of pressure on other teams. But in terms of Gabe, I'm sure there'll be opportunities for him. But he wants to win, and I think at this time of year, defense wins.
What role do you see for him moving forward at this key stretch for you, for Gabe?
He'll keep doing what he's doing. Just come out and play basketball. Just play. He'll be a guy that can, reverse the basketball offensively. He have a shot, knock it down. He'd be able to. He makes tremendous passes. And then, of course, defensively, as I said, he can guard multiple positions. He really rebounds the basketball well. He just got good instincts, and so he just continue to play. He can play on the front of the press, the back of the press. He'll go out and give us some quality minutes.
Talk about all the energy he gave you guys. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, I just think, when you get a guy that, this time of year, a guy that hadn't played much, and you got some guys that have played, 30-plus minutes, 29-plus minutes, and he's hungry. I think he's hungry, and that gets contagious. And what I mean by that, loose balls. He came off the bench one time, I think he got a 5-second call. And in that instance, you could just see him. He just, boom, the hand went up, he got excited. He made a nice pass to Daniel when Daniel got the dunk. You should have seen his expression before the dunk took place. He anticipated Daniel dunking the ball. And he already, it's contagious, man, that energy level when the intensity goes up. And I think that's what he brings, that intensity to the floor.
Coach, a little bit of a non-game question. When you look at players that play 2 sports when they get to college, what are your thoughts on that?
Players that have played
that choose to play 2 sports when they get to college, like if they play basketball and something else, what are your thoughts on that as a coach?
Well, we've seen some that are pretty good at it. South Carolina had a young man that played football for him this past year, and he's a pretty good player. I don't know what his number was, but he's a really good player for him. I think if you can do it, do it. The guard that played for South Carolina is playing on the NFL team right now. The little guard, he was really, really good. So you got some guys that are able to do that. The guy that stands out in my mind is Charlie Ward. This guy was, I think, was it a Heisman Trophy? Did he win a Heisman Trophy? Yeah, and almost took his team, I don't know, to the Final Four, but he was a tremendous basketball player. And there are some guys that can juggle that, and that says a lot about those people.
Mike, you look at Vanderbilt, they're 9-15, they're last in the league, but then watch them. They beat Georgia pretty soundly. They probably should have won at Rupp. They beat TCU. I mean, what do you think of their record compared to maybe how good a team they are?
Well, I think it's a team that's coming together, and they're coming together at the right time of the year. They had one of the leading scorers that's not on the team right now. They got a lot of young players, but it tells you about their leadership. LaChance and Roberson have kind of taken charge of this team right now, and so the young guys are playing. Lee, Toye, Willis, all those guys now they're familiar with one another, and very much like they did last year. We saw them really come on strong last year. And that's a sign of a team that's really kind of developing. And hopefully that's what we are. We're a team that, early on we were playing well, then we got a little sick, and hopefully everything's starting to come together, and we got more guys that are more ready to play. That's what I see with them. Their team is, you can't look at their records. A lot of people looked at their records last year, and they just got hot at the right time. So, but they're playing a lot. They're playing really, really good right now. Like I said, they lost at Kentucky in overtime. They were at Auburn and played Auburn pretty good. Auburn's one of those teams that can go off on you, but they hung in there. So, but then of course they beat a good Georgia team last night.